Good morning, everyone. Right. We are going to start with this chapter, Supply under GST. The most important chapter of the entire syllabus of GST. Why it is so important is, for every taxation system, for any tax to be levied, there shall be one triggering point, which is called as taxable event. If you consider income tax, let's say capital gain tax is there. Why the capital gain tax is being levied? You are having an asset and you are transferring such asset. That's why capital gain is triggering. Correct? So why the exercise duty is used to be there? If somebody is doing manufacturing activity, excise duty used to be levied. If somebody is doing imports, customs duty is being levied. Somebody is doing sale of goods, VAT used to be there. Provision of services means service tax used to be there. So likewise, under GST, in order to attract GST, what shall be there? That is what is the taxable event. So the taxable event under GST is supply. Supply is the taxable event. And supply is such an elaborate word. Supply is such an elaborate definition. Why it is so elaborative? It is so obvious that it is after abolition of VAT, abolition of excise duty on manufacturing activity, abolition of service tax, all are not there. So GST is replacing with it. GST is replacing with it. So whenever there is a taxable event which shall substitute all the taxable events under earlier different laws, there shall be an elaborate definition for such taxable event. That's why the supply definition is complete. The definition of supply itself is a chapter. Here we are discussing supply under GST. The definition of supply itself is the chapter. So we need to understand the definition of the term. That itself is the chapter. Okay. So today we are going to discuss with this chapter supply under GST. Right? Okay. See, in GST, if an activity is a supply, then we cannot say that GST is going to attract on it. If an activity is supply, see, we are taking up supply definition. If some activity is meeting the definition of supply, that means we cannot say that GST is there on that. We cannot say that GST is there and some other elements are also there. If it is becoming supply, we cannot say that GST shall attract on that activity. See, if a particular activity is attracted with GST means, that means that activity first shall be supply. Then only GST will be attracted on such activity. You got it? Right. So we'll go for the definition of supply now. We will understand the definition of supply. Okay. So first of all, we will have a section 7 of CGST Act. Section 7 of CGST Act defines the meaning of supply. In that, section 7 subsection 1 clause A. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A is telling that, see, this is the definition of supply. Section 7 7(1)(a) clause AA, 7(1)(a) and 7(2)(a), 7(2)(b), 7(3), all this is the definition of supply only. That means inclusions of supply, exclusions of supply, means of supply, everything will come here. See, in this, the first clause is 7(1)(a). 7(1)(a). So here, supply includes. Supply includes. That means it is an elaborate definition. It is not an exhaustive definition. It is not an exhaustive definition. Supply includes all forms of supply of goods or services. All forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. So in order to take the definition of supply, the first line itself is telling that supply shall be of goods or services. First one, there shall be goods or services. First one. Second point is that it may be in any form. So far we are discussing some transactions. So those we have taken as sale only. Mainly we have taken sale. A mobile shop dealer is there. He is selling mobile phone to a customer. Likewise, we have taken some examples. So that means we have taken sale examples only. It is not that just the sale transactions are under the definition of supply under the scope of GST. There are many other forms just like sale. So other forms are also there which shall comes under the definition of supply, thereby comes under the scope of GST. Right? Sale is there, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal. This is not the end of the list. This is not the end of the list. In any other form, if a transaction is happening means that also may come under the definition of supply. That also may come under the definition of supply, right? See, first of all, a supply to be happen, first it shall be of goods or services. It shall be of goods or services, one thing. Next, it shall cover in any form. Like it may be sale, it may be transfer, it may be barter, it may be exchange, anything like. And later, agreed to be made for a consideration. Made or agreed to be made for a consideration means consideration shall be present. Consideration shall be present. And that too by a person in the course or furtherance of business. That means business shall be there. Business shall be there. So prima facie, the first three conditions for supply are goods or services. Goods or services. Second one is consideration. Third one is in the course or furtherance of business. If all these three conditions are meeting in a particular transaction, whatever the transaction may be, it may be sale transaction, it may be transfer, it may be barter, it may be lease, it may be license, it may be disposal, whatever it may be rental, whatever the transaction may be, if all these elements are present, then it can be called as a supply. Then it can be called as a supply. See, if a supply is there, if an activity is treated as supply, that means all the conditions are satisfied. That means goods and services, they are dealing in goods or they are dealing in services. And there is a consideration for such transaction. And it is happened in the course or furtherance of business. During the course of business it happened. Then it can be called as a supply. Even if it is called as a supply, we cannot say that GST is attracted on such transaction. We cannot say that GST is attracted on such transaction. Let's say we are having a bike. We are having a bike that is an old bike. We wanted to change our bike. That's why we are selling our bike. Okay. So let's say 1,50,000 is the cost of the bike. Now we are selling it as 60,000 rupees. Okay. Bike is a good. We can say no. It is a movable property. That's why it is a good, right? There is a consideration. There is a consideration. Second condition is also satisfied. 60,000 consideration is there. Third point, business is there. Business is there. There is no business here. Occasionally, it happened like that. We wanted to change the bike. That's why we are selling. It is not our regular activity. It is not our business activity. Our business is not to sell the bikes. Occasionally, we are selling the bike. So business is absent here. Then it can be called a supplier. It cannot be called a supply because the element business is missing here. Likewise, consideration may be missing. Likewise, some transaction is happening, but it is not a good or it is not a service. So likewise, we need to elaborate each and every word in the definition of supply. So we need to elaborate what is good and what is service. We need to know what is a consideration. Sometimes there is a consideration not only in the terms of money. There may be a consideration in terms of in the nature of kind. Consideration in kind may be there. So likewise, consideration may be in any form. There is a separate definition for it. And an activity to be treated as a business, there is a separate definition for business. So if all these conditions are present, then it will be treated as supply. Let's say all the conditions are present. Let's say all the conditions are present. That means we are dealing in goods and it is a business activity and there is a consideration. Let's say. So then it is a supplier, then it is supply. Okay. So when it is a supply, we cannot say that there is a GST on it. We cannot say that there is a GST on it. So it shall be made by a taxable person, and it shall be a taxable supply. It shall be a taxable supply. It shall be a taxable supply. Let's say A dealer is there. Dealer is there. That means he is doing business. AC dealer is there. AC dealer is there. He is doing business. Okay, he is selling AC. 40,000 rupees AC he is selling. That means he is dealing in goods. There is consideration in the course or furtherance of business. All the conditions are being satisfied. That means it is a supply. Okay, right. It is a supply. Then it will be taxable under GST. We cannot say directly. He shall be a taxable person. His turnover is only 10 lakhs. In the last financial year, his turnover is 10 lakhs. That means he is not a taxable person. If he is not a taxable person, even though all the conditions regarding the supply are met, it cannot be treated as, the transaction cannot be levied for GST. Why it is not levied for GST? Even though it is supply, it is not made by a taxable person. Sometimes what will happen? It will be made by a taxable person only. He is doing a good business, but sometimes that activity is not treated as not under the scope of taxable supply. It is an exempted supply. That means a lawyer is there, an advocate is there. He is providing legal services. An advocate is there. He is providing legal services. So legal services are under exemption list. So service is there. In the course or furtherance of business is there. That is his profession it is. And later on consideration has been charged from the client. All the conditions are met. Hence it is a supply. It is a supply. It is made by a taxable person only. But it is an exempted service. But it is an exempted service. Okay, so for an activity to be treated as or liable for GST means all the conditions shall be met. First of all, it shall be supplied. After being supplied, it may be attracting GST or it may not attract GST. Okay, likewise we need to elaborate each and every word in the definition. So firstly we need to start with goods or service. What is good, what is service? And later we need to see the definition of consideration. We have to see the definition of business as well in order to understand the transaction given under section 7 subsection 1 clause A. We are just talking about the first line in the definition of supply, which is section 7 subsection 1 clause A. Okay, right. See, first three conditions we are talking, right? Goods or service shall be there. Next, consideration shall be there. Next, business shall be there. We are talking. Okay, there is no relaxation with respect to goods and service. We shall be dealing in goods. We shall be dealing in services. Let's say land is not included in the definition of goods nor the definition of service. Land is not included in the definition of goods. It is not included in the definition of service. See, one person is there. He is a real estate dealer. So who used to deal in lands only? So he used to sell the plots. He used to sell the plots. He is a real estate dealer. He used to sell the plots. So he is dealing in goods. He is not dealing in goods. He is dealing in service. He is not dealing into service. So goods and services are absent. See, even though remaining are present, like consideration is there, business is there, that comes under the supplier, it will not comes under supply. Okay, so first of all, goods or services must be there. There is no relaxation to such this thing, which is goods or service. Now, when it comes to consideration, there is a relaxation. So there are some activities. With respect to consideration, there is a relaxation. There are some activities, even though there is no consideration, that will be treated as supply. Got it? Even though there is no consideration, that will be treated as supply. There is a relaxation. That means there is an exception. There is an exception to this condition consideration. Next, there is a business. There are some transaction. Even though there is no business, then those activities can be treated as supply. There is an exception to it. So for business also, there is a relaxation. There is an exception. For business also, there is an exception. So that means there are some activities without consideration comes under the definition of supply. That means there are some activities comes under the definition of supply even though it is not made in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, so we need to elaborate everything under the definition of supply, right? Okay, we'll see this definition section 7 subsection 1 clause A. So where it will talk about the supply. Supply includes all forms of supply. It may be sale, it may be transfer, it may be barter, it may be exchange, it may be license, it may be rental, lease or disposal, made or agreed to be made in the course or furtherance of business. So this is what it is there in section 7 subsection 1 clause A. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A. So firstly we will understand the format of this section. So here it will tell about section 7 1A is telling about supply definition. So where it is talking about goods or services, consideration must be there, business shall be there. Now section 7 1 7.1b is there. 7.1b, where it is talking about importation of services for consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. That means even if a business is absent, then also this transaction can be treated as supply. 7.1b. There are some transactions. 7.1c here. 7.1c. There are some transactions. The activities specified in schedule 1. In schedule 1, there will be some activities, list of some activities made or agreed to be made without consideration. Even though without consideration also, there is no consideration also, those will be regarded as supply. Okay. So under section 7 subsection 1 clause A, supply includes all the activities. It shall be made for consideration and in the course or furtherance of business. That means clause 7 clause A, that means section 7 subsection 1 clause A, it is telling that all the elements shall be present. 7.1b is giving relaxation with respect to business. 7.1c is giving relaxation with respect to consideration. You're getting it? 3 clauses are there. 7.1a, 7.1b, 7.1c. 7.1a is talking that all the elements shall be present. What are the elements? It shall be goods or service. Next, it shall be made for consideration. Next, it shall be made in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. Now the 7.1b is telling that with respect to importation of services, even though it is not made in the course or furtherance of business also, it shall be treated as supply only. That means there is a relaxation with respect to the condition business. Okay. What 7.1c is telling? There are list of activities which are mentioned in schedule 1. So those are regarded as supply even though they are made for no consideration, without consideration. Okay, you are getting it right. Next, 7.1.1a is there. 7.1.1a is there. In 7.1.1a, schedule 2 is there. Schedule 2. There are list of activities which shall be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. Supply of goods or supply of, whether an activity to be treated as supply of goods or supply of service. There are list of some activities. So which shall be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. This is what is schedule 2. This is what is schedule 2. Right. And section 7 subsection 2. Section 7 subsection 2 is telling that activities or transactions specified in schedule 3. Activities or transactions specified in schedule 3 which shall be neither a supply, nor attracted to GST. That means all the conditions given under section 7.1a is attracted. That means notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1. That means even though 7.1a is satisfied or 7.1b is satisfied or 7.1c is satisfied, it is notwithstanding. So even though all the conditions which are required to become a supply, which are required for an activity to become a supply are being met, even then also, so if these activities are there means it is not considered as supply. That means it is a negative list. That means it is negative list. So all the conditions which has been given under section 7 subsection 1 are met also. If these transactions are happening means these are not considered as supply. That means outside the ambit of supply. See, if these are outside the ambit of supply means outside the ambit of GST. See, if a transaction is within the scope of supply means we cannot say that GST is attracting or not. If a transaction or an activity is outside the scope of supply means definitely there is no GST. You got it? So when it is a supply, we have to check with some other conditions whether it will be attracted to GST or not. So if an activity is not a supply, we need not check whether GST will attract or not. Okay, right. So section 7 subsection 2 is telling a negative list. Section 7 subsection 2 is telling the negative list. See here we are talking about supply. In this supply, section 7 subsection 1, 7 subsection 2. In this 7 subsection 1, clause A is there, clause B is there, clause C is there. Clause A is telling that goods or services, consideration shall be there, business shall be there. Clause B is telling that if it is an importation of service, business need not be there. Business may be there, may not be there. Clause C is telling that schedule 1, there are list of some activities. So even though without consideration, that amounts to supply. That means all these clauses are supply inclusions. 7.2 is telling that even though all the conditions under section 7 subsection 1, it may be clause A or it may be clause B or it may be clause C, all the conditions are being met which are enumerated under section 7 subsection 1, all the conditions are being met. Even though all the conditions are met, if the activity is mentioned in schedule 3, then it will not be treated as supply. So that means supply exclusions. So supply includes 7.1. Supply excludes 7.2. You got it? You got the structure? So in this we are going to discuss 3 schedules. 7.1c, we have a schedule 1, where we are talking about activities without consideration, but still comes under the definition of supply. In 7 subsection 2, we are going to talk about schedule 3. Here we will find the list of activities. Even though all the conditions are met, they are outside the ambit of supply definition. Right? So and there is one more schedule, which is schedule 2, which is given under section 7.1a, 1 capital A. Section 7 subsection 1a, 1 capital A, okay, which is schedule 2. So here there is a list of activities which are already supply, but supply of goods are supply of services. You got the structure of this definition or section 7. So we are going to talk about this section 7. So we have mainly 3 subsections, actually 4 subsections. 7 subsection 3 is also there, but main important subsections are only 3 subsections. Section 7 subsection 1, 7 subsection 1a, 7 subsection 2. You are getting the structure, right? 7 subsection 1, 7 subsection 1a, 7 subsection 2. In 7 subsection 1, we have 4 different clauses. Clause A, clause AA, which we will discuss later. Clause A is there, clause AA is there, clause B is there, clause C is there. Clause A, 4 clauses are there. Clause A, AA, clause B, clause C. 4 clauses are there. In that, the first clause 7.1a, clause A. So clause A is telling that in order to become a supply includes all forms of supply. It may be supply of goods or services. Okay. That means it may be sale, it may be transfer, it may be whatever it may be in any form. Okay. Any form of supply. Per consideration. In the course or furtherance of business. Goods or services must be there. Business must be there. Consideration must be there. 7.1a. Now 7.1b. 7.1b is telling that if it is a case of importation of services, not importation of goods. If it is an importation of goods, what will happen? Customs duty will be levied. IGST will be levied. Importation of goods. If it is a case of importation of services, it will come here. Importation of services, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. That means business may be present, may not be present. Now 7.1c. 7.1c, what they are telling? Even though the activities or transactions are happening without consideration, but still it will be regarded as supply. There are list of some activities which are given under schedule 1. So when these list of activities are coming, so these will be treated as supply only, even though they are made without consideration. Next is 7.1a. 1 capital A. 7.1a. where it is telling that it is already supply, it is a declared supply, it is declared as supply. So that means 7(1)(a) is already attracted here. All the conditions given under section 7 subsection 1 has been attracted here. But 7(1)(a) is telling that when there is a list of these activities, it shall be read as supply of goods or supply of services. In what way they are telling that only to be treated? That means supply of goods to be treated. That means an activity they are telling that there is this activity is supply of goods. That means it is supply of goods only. They are telling that this activity is supply of service. It is a supply of service only. This is a declared service or declared supply of goods. Got it? Right. This is schedule 2. And now 7 subsection 2. In 7 subsection 2, there is a list of activities which are meeting the requirement of section 7 subsection 1, but still those activities will not be treated as supply. That is negative list to supply. That is exclusions from supply. You got this, sir? 7 subsection 3 is there. That is very nominal section. So you got this structure. We will discuss it elaborately. Okay, right. Now we will discuss each and every word of the definition or every word of the clause. Okay, 7 subsection 1 clause A, supply includes all forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal made or agreed to be made for consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, right. Now moving to this discussion, which is analysis part. See here, it defines the scope of supply in an inclusive manner. Clause A of subsection 1 illustrates the forms of supply, but the list is not exhaustive. This is further substantiated by the use of the words such as in the definition. That means supply involves goods or services, consideration is mandatory, supply should be made in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, right. Next, while supply generally means a transaction for consideration in the course or furtherance of business, there are few important exceptions. Okay, there are few important exceptions. So what are those? Supply without consideration, where it is a schedule 1. Importation of services, if even the business is not present also, importation of services will be treated as supply. Transactions outside the scope of GST, neither goods nor services, it is a schedule 3 activity. Schedule 3 activity is, even though it is a goods or service, consideration is present in the course or furtherance of business. That means all the conditions under 7(1) is satisfied. But schedule 3 activities means these are outside the scope of supply. So these are the transactions outside the scope of supply. Right. So this is what the structure. Supply includes, supply excludes. Supply includes supply of goods or services for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. 7(1)(a). Activities or transactions. See, this we will discuss later. This we will discuss later. 7(1)(aa). Next, importation of services for consideration, whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. 7(1)(b). This is importation of services. 7(1)(b). Next, supply without consideration. 7(1)(c) and schedule 1 activities. Next, activities to be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. 7(1)(a), schedule 2 activities. And next, supply excludes non-supplies under GST. 7 subsection 2, schedule 3. Okay, so these are the activities. Right. So now, supply should be of goods or services. Supply should be of goods or services. So we need to check whether what is goods and what is service. Okay, what is goods and what is services. So here it is telling that goods or services shall exclude money and securities. Shall exclude money and securities. So goods or services, anything it may be, it shall exclude money and services. Money means currency. Money means currency. Currency shall be excluded from the definition of goods. So money is not goods. Next, securities. Securities is also not goods, or it is also not a service. Okay, right. Then what is goods and what is service? See here, goods means any kind of movable property. Goods means any kind of movable property, any movable property. So if it is land means it will not comes under the definition of supply. If it is a building means, definition of goods. If it is a building means it will not come under the definition of goods. Okay, movable property only. Whether it may be a future property also. That means growing crops are there. Growing crops. Growing crops can also be considered as goods, future crop or future goods. But still it can be considered as goods. But immovable property cannot be considered as goods. Money cannot be considered as goods. Securities cannot be considered as goods. Likewise, services means anything other than goods will be considered as service. Anything other than, but it shall exclude. But it shall exclude. What it shall exclude? Money, securities. Money and securities. Right. So here goods includes actionable claims. Goods includes actionable claims. Actionable claims, you know, promissory note is there. Somebody promised you to pay 1 lakh rupee in after 3 months. They have taken that 1 lakh rupee from you. They have given a promissory note. Okay, after 3 months you can claim that 1 lakh rupee along with interest. That is an actionable claim. A lottery ticket is there. A lottery ticket is there. Lottery ticket is there. You have paid some amount. You have taken the lottery ticket. Later point of time, to this lottery ticket, some lottery has awarded. Okay, you can claim this by showing this ticket. This is an actionable claim. So actionable claim is which can be claimed at a later point of time. It is an instrument. Okay, actionable claim. So actionable claim can also be treated as goods. So it comes under the definition of goods. Actionable claim is also a good. Okay, even growing crops are also goods. Growing crops are also goods. Grass and things attached to or forming part of the land, which are agreed to be served before supply or under a contract of supply. Even the growing crops can be treated as goods. Even though they are not in existence now, for the time being they are not in existence. In future they will be arrived. Okay, so those are also can be considered as goods. When it comes to services definition, anything other than goods is service. Anything other than goods is service, but it shall exclude money and securities. Money and securities. That means currencies shall be excluded, securities shall be excluded. You know, the securities may be share, it may be bond, it may be debenture, or it may be any derivative, whatever it may be, securities shall be excluded. Right. Okay, but it shall include activities relating to the use of money. Activities relating to the use of money. It shall include activities relating to the use of money. What is activity relating to use of money? You are depositing cash or withdrawing cash. That means you are dealing in currency only. Whenever you are taking a loan for some interest, that means activity relating to the use of money. You are using money for that usage. You are paying interest. That means that the extension of loan or advance is a service. Extension of loan or advance is a service. That means activity relating to the use of money. Any activity relating to the use of money is a service. Straight away when it comes to money, it is not a good or it is not a service. But any activity with respect to usage of money is a service. That means you are giving money for some interest. That is an activity used for usage of money against which you are charging some consideration. That is what is service. Activity relating to the use of money. And sometimes there is an exchange of currencies. Foreign exchange dealers are there. What they will do? Foreign exchange, if we want dollars, we have Indian currency. We will give Indian currency and then we will take dollars for some charge. For some charge, there is a separate consideration. So they are doing conversion. We are dealing in money only. We are not telling that money is goods or money is service. But whenever you are doing an exchange activity, that is a service. Whenever you are doing a exchange activity, that is a service. So we are not telling straight away money is service, money is good or money is service. Activity relating to the use of money is service. Activity relating to the exchange of currency is service. See here, activities relating to the use of money or conversion of money by cash or by any other mode from one form or currency or denomination to another form for which a separate consideration is charged. For such conversion, there is a separate consideration. Then it can be treated as service. You got the definition of goods and services, sir? So goods means any kind of movable property. Immovable property cannot comes under the definition of goods. Any kind of movable property. So even though it is an actionable claim, even though it is a future goods also, so it can be treated as goods. Okay, money is not a good, securities is not a good. Dealing in securities, let's say Zerodha is there, Upstocks is there. Okay, so these are what they will do. They will facilitate the transaction of securities. They will facilitate the transaction. They will facilitate the platform for buying or selling securities. So that means that is a service. That is a service. Securities is not a straight away service, or it is not straight away goods. But activity relating to the dealing of securities is a service. So that means Zerodha is doing a service. Zerodha is doing service. Okay. So activities relating to the use of money or conversion of money is a service. So anything other than goods is a service. But money is not good or service. Securities are not goods or service. You got this definition? Huh? So this is what the definition of goods or service. Okay. Right. So supply should be of goods or services or both. So we have seen the definition of goods or services. Now comes supply includes specified forms of supply and should be for consideration and should be made in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, na? Supply should include specified forms of supply and should be for consideration and should be in the course or furtherance of business. So here we need to consider the word consideration. We need to consider the word consideration, and we need to consider the word forms of supply, and we need to consider the word in the course or furtherance of business. So these three has to be discussed. Okay, na? So what is that? Forms of supply has to be discussed. Forms of supply means it may be sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, license, everything. Okay, forms of supply has to be considered. Next, it should be for consideration. That means consideration shall be taken up. Consideration shall be taken up. And lastly, business has to be taken. In the course or furtherance of business is there, no? A business has to be taken up. Now we will go with the forms of supply. See here, forms of supply, and that too for some consideration in the course of furtherance of business, then it will comes under the definition of supply. So now we will take up the forms of supply. So what are the forms there here? Sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal. So these are the different forms. This is not an exhaustive list. It can be inclusive list. Okay, right. What is sale? You know, no? You already know what is sale. That means a shopkeeper is there. He is selling some goods to a customer. So he is taking the money from the customer. This is what is a sale. A simple sale transaction. By this, the ownership in the goods will be transferred. Or it may be a supply or provision of service. Provision of service for some charge. Provision of service, AC installation is there. We are paying the shopkeeper a certain amount of 2,000 or 3,000 rupees for installing AC. He is giving service. Oh, this is what is a sale of service or sale of goods, whatever it may be. A simple sale where the ownership is being transferred. A consideration is being moved from one person to another. This is a simple sale transaction. Next there is a transfer. Next there is a transfer. Transfer means simply shifting. Okay, so we have a branch office. We have a branch. We have a factory. We have a retail branch. We have a factory. We are moving the goods from factory to retail branch. We are moving the goods or stock from factory to retail branch. This can be treated as transfer. Transfer of goods. Okay, na? So transfer. Next, barter. Barter means exchange. What is the difference between exchange and barter? What is the difference between exchange and barter? In barter, there is simply an exchange. There is no consideration or cash involvement. So I am giving some goods to you. You are giving me some goods, or you are giving me some service. Let's say an example. See, this social media influencers are there. They are reviewing a phone, new phone. They are reviewing. They are making a video of that phone. So as a return gift, what they will do? The company will provide them the phone. They are giving services to them. Who the social media influencer is giving services, digital marketing service. To whom? To the company. The company is giving the phone. In exchange of their service, the company is giving the phone. This is what is the barter. If there is no consideration involved, if there is no cash involved in the transaction, then it can be treated as a barter. Okay, na? So social media influencer is there. A company is there. Let's say Oppo. Okay. So he is giving digital marketing service. The company is giving phone to him. If this is the transaction, then it can be treated as barter. He is giving service, they are giving a good. Okay, barter. So along with the phone, they are giving a consideration of 1 lakh rupee. Then this is an exchange. Then this is an exchange. So sometimes you might be placing an online order, exchange of phone. Okay, you can exchange your old phone with a new phone, where the new phone cost is 30,000 rupees. The old phone is costing 6,500 rupees. The remaining balance of 23,500 will be paid by you. This is an exchange. This is an exchange. Okay, so there is a difference between exchange and barter. In barter, only exchange, there will not be an involvement of cash or any other consideration. In exchange, there is an involvement of cash. Okay, this is also a form of supply. So that means whenever a social media influencer is giving the digital market services to the company, the social media influencer is giving services to the company. Digital marketing service is giving. That means he is giving a service. It is a supply. It is a supply. So likewise in exchange also it is a supply. In Amazon we are placing an order of a new phone in exchange of our old phone. So it is a supply. It is a supply. It is a supply. Amazon seller will be there. The seller is supplying goods to us. It is a supply. So even though it is an exchange transaction, that comes under the definition of supply only. It is a good or service. It comes under the definition of goods. Next it is a form of supply. It is an exchange transaction. It is made for consideration. It is in the course or furtherance of business. Then it is a supply. 7(1)(a) conditions are being met. Then it is a supply. Right. Next, license. License. So license means it is an authority, giving an authority. So some authority will be there. They are giving permission to you. Liquor license is there. In order to do the liquor business or alcohol business, government has to give you permission. For against some payment, you have to pay some amount. Against some payment, this is a license. Mining is there. So if you want to do mining activity, you have to pay some amount to the government. You have to get some permission. So that is a license, mining license, for some consideration. Okay, this is a license. So even though licensing, it is a form of supply. It is a form of supply. That means government is giving license to a mining company, to a bar. Okay, mining license is there, liquor license is there, government is giving. So that means government is providing service. Government is providing service. Licensing is a form of supply, and that too supply of service. Supply of service for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Then it is a supply. It will attract GST or not, it is a different issue. First of all, it is a supply. Yes, it is a supply. Okay, this is what is license. So this is also a form of supply. Next, rental lease. What is the difference between rental and lease? What is the difference between rental and lease? Per annum, per month. So actually, rental agreement may be there. Lease agreement may be there. Lease agreement may be there. Rental agreement generally for short term, and there are no many restrictions. Many restrictions means no much lock-in period. No much lock-in period. When it comes to lease agreement, there will be a lock-in period. That means it is a long-term agreement. It may be for 30 years. 99 years lease also there. 99 years lease also there. So if you are taking a commercial building or commercial space on rent, that is for short term. It may be for 1 year or it may be for 2 years. And you can enter into a formal agreement. But when it comes to a lease agreement, let's say if you are taking up a land, industrial land is there. To set up a factory, you can take the industrial land on lease. To set up a factory, that means you are building something on it. You are taking the land is not yours. It is not your. You are not the owner of the land. You are taking it on lease for 30 years. It is a long-term lease. That's why you are building some civil structure is being built on it. Okay, that is what is lease. It may be for 30 years. It may be up to 99 years also. Some government leases will be for 99 years also. So lease is a long-term period, and rental agreements are generally for a small short-term periods. Okay, so whatever it may be lease or it may be rent. It is a form of supply. It is a form of supply, right? Next, disposal. Disposal is there. Disposal means disposal. Let's say in a company, there are some old laptops. They wanted to sell it off. Old furniture is there. They wanted to sell it as a scrap. So that is what is disposal is. Sometimes old laptops are there. They wanted to donate. Then also it will comes under the definition of disposal only. Then also there is no formal definition for all of these terms. All of these terms there is no formal definition given under the act. But actually dictionary meanings we are talking. What are the meanings we are talking? That's all. Right. So disposal is there, no? So it is selling some scrap. It can be treated as disposal. Giving some goods or giving some properties which are condemned on a donation, or giving free samples. Giving free samples is also a disposal. Without consideration, but still it is a form of supply. Without consideration, but still it is a form of supply. So disposal is a form of supply. Disposal is a form of supply. So we talked about sale. It is a simple transaction where the ownership will be exchanged, where ownership will be transferred upon payment of the consideration. Next, we talked about transfer, which is a simple stock transfer from one place to another place. Okay, from our place to our place. Okay, next we talked about barter. Barter where there is an exchange of goods and goods, good and a service, service and a service, whatever it may be, but there is no involvement of cash. Okay, we talked about license exchange where there is an exchange of good and a good, or good and a service, service and a service, but there is an involvement of cash. Along with the exchange, there is an involvement of cash. License we talked about. That means a license will be provided by an authority, or a permission will be given by an authority for some consideration. Then it is a form of supply. Rental we talked about, which is generally a long term, which is a short term basis. Okay, there will be a formal agreement which is generally unregistered agreement will be there, and lease agreement which is a long term in nature with respect to immovable properties. Disposal. Disposal means selling it as on scrap, giving as donation, or giving it on as a free sample. Likewise, it is a disposal. So these are all the forms of supply. So this is not an exhaustive list. This is an inclusive list. Any other form could be a form of supply. Any other form could be a form of supply. You got this up? Right. So if this form of supply is made for consideration, if this form of supply is made for consideration, when you are selling it for consideration, when you are transferring it for consideration, when you are exchanging it for consideration, barter is also for consideration only, no? Against a good, we are releasing a good. Okay. So whenever you are doing it for some consideration, whenever you are doing it for some consideration, so then it will comes under the definition of supply, and that too in the course or furtherance of business, then it will comes under the definition of supply. Right. We have seen the forms of supply. Now we need to consider the definition of consideration. We need to see the definition of consideration. See here, sale and transfer. Shopkeeper sells a pen of ₹100 to the buyer. After the sale, the pen belongs to the buyer, and shopkeeper does not have any right on the pen. This is a transaction of sale. Next, a company transfer goods from its factory to the depot for sale purpose. This is a transfer of goods. Factory to depot, transfer of goods. Barter and exchange. We have example for this also. When a new car worth 5 lakhs is purchased in exchange of old car, then it is an exchange. And the monetary consideration of 4 lakhs is paid for the said purchase. Monetary consideration is there, no? That's why it is an exchange. See, whenever a doctor got his haircut from a barber and provides him medical consultancy in return, this is an exchange. There is no consideration involved, additional consideration involved, monetary consideration involved. Next, license. License is an official authorization given by competent authority to allow someone to perform an activity that would otherwise be unlawful. If there is no license, then the activity will be illegal. Okay. So that is, a business needs liquor license to legally sell alcoholic beverages. Without this license, selling alcohol would be illegal. So then it is a license. It is a form of supply. Lease and rentals. Renting a car for weekend trip is rental. Leasing an office space for 5 years is a lease agreement. Okay, disposal. Disposal involves transferring ownership or use of an item, whether by selling, pledging, consuming, or donating. Whatever it may be, it is disposal. A company selling old machinery or donating old computers to a charity is a form of disposal. We got all this, sir? Just have a glance reading. You are understanding where we are and what we are talking. Now we have to start with the definition of consideration. Before that, you just go through what we have studied so far. Okay, shall we start with consideration definition? See here. So we are talking about supply, section 7. Okay, in this, supply includes, supply excludes, correct? Supply excludes. Supply includes 7 subsection 1. Supply excludes 7 subsection 2. Correct? 7 subsection 2, correct? Where is the chart? Supply includes 7 subsection 1. Supply excludes 7 subsection 2. Okay, right. In 7 subsection 1, we have 4 clauses: A, AA, B, and C. Likewise, we have 4 clauses. Okay, supply excludes 7 subsection 2, correct? 7 subsection 2. We have another section also, 7 subsection 1A. Right. In 7 subsection 1, where supply includes 7 subsection 1, clause A, we are talking about clause A, where supply of goods or services. It may be any form of supply. It may be sale, it may be transfer, it may be barter, it may be exchange, it may be lease, it may be license, it may be disposal, or whatever it may be. Any form of supply. All forms of supply, such as sale, transfer, barter, etc. Okay. In the course or furtherance of business. And that too for consideration. So if all these conditions are met, as per section 7, subsection 1, clause A, it is a supply. If not, If not, it is not a supplier. Still there is a chance it could be a supply. Still there is a chance it could be a supply. If a transaction is not involving goods or services, means it cannot be treated as supply. Straight away we can reject. That means which is a real estate transaction, selling of land is not a supply. Why it is not a supply? First of all, land is not a good. They are not dealing in goods. So whenever it is a good, whenever it is a form of supply, later on we have to see business consideration. Even there is no business, even though there is no consideration, still there is a chance that could be a supply. How there is a chance? There is 7 subsection 1 clause B, 7 subsection 1 clause C, which is relaxing about consideration, which is relaxing about course or furtherance of business. You got it? Right. So there we are. Next 7 subsection 2, which excludes from the definition of supply. That means all the conditions are being met, but these are the activities which cannot be treated as supply. That is a negative list, right? So we just talked with the definition. We have done with the, this forms of supply. Now we are moving to the definition of consideration. See here, money or kind, GST does not mind. Okay, it may be in kind also. Consideration may be in kind also. So consideration need not always be in the form of money. It can be in any money. It can be in money or in kind. It covers anything which might be possibly done, given or made in exchange for something else. Okay, right. So, and it may be, it need not always flow from the recipient. That means you see, you are taking service of an educational institute. You are taking service of an educational institute, but the consideration is being paid by some other person, like your parents are paying the fees. So that means it is not always the recipient of service has to pay consideration. It can be from a third party also. Okay, so further, a consideration need not always flow from the recipient of supply. It can also be made by a third person. Sometimes government will pay subsidies or scholarships will be there. Government will pay the fees. Let's say an engineering college is there. So to such engineering college, the fees of the college fees of a student will be paid by government to the engineering college. Likewise. Okay, however, any subsidy given by central government, state government is not considered as consideration. So if it is a subsidy given by central government or state government, it cannot be considered as a consideration. We will see the formal definition of consideration here. See here, consideration is a payment in money or otherwise for the supply. So it may be payment in cash or it may be payment in any kind. Okay, next, monetary value and by a recipient or any other person. Consideration may be paid by recipient or any third party. Okay, right. And monetary value of any act or forbearance for the supply. Monetary value of any act or forbearance, they are telling. Forbearance. Any act or forbearance. Act means we are asking them to do something. That is an act. Forbearance means we are asking them not to do something. We are asking them not to do something. So that is also a consideration. It is need not always be an activity which has to be done. Sometimes it is an activity which shall be keeping quiet. Let's say an employer is there, a software company is there. From that software company, an employee is there. He is retiring from such company or taking voluntary retirement. Now he wants to make a startup there. Now he wants to put a startup. With all this experience from the company, he wants to put a startup. Now the software company approached the ex-employee and given 10 lakh rupees to not to start the business. Non-compete. To not to compete. Okay, not to start the business. So this is what is non-compete fees. So here what the employee is doing? He is just not doing something. For not doing something, he is getting consideration. That also comes under the definition here. So doing an act for consideration, not doing an act for consideration, and sometimes toleration of an act. Let's say we are booking on Rapido. We wanted to cancel the ride. There will be cancellation charge. Why the cancellation charge? In order to tolerate the cancellation of booking, there is a cancellation charge. So that is also a consideration. So for doing something, there may be consideration. For not doing something, there is a consideration. For tolerating something, there is a consideration. Okay, now all this comes under the definition here, right? It may be by a recipient, it may be by any person other than the recipient, it may be by a third person. Okay, right? Deposit to be considered as a payment. Sometimes we will do a security deposit. Let's say if you take an rent a property on rent, we will pay advance rent. Like 3 months advance will be there, which will be kept as a deposit. At last, they may adjust that advance to the rent, or sometimes they may return that deposit. So if they are returning such deposit, it will not be treated as consideration. If they are adjusting such deposit to the rent, then it will be treated as consideration. You are getting it? So consideration is there. Consideration, whenever you are taking a deposit, whenever you are taking a deposit, so deposit is there means it cannot be directly treated as consideration. If the deposit is appropriated, then it can be treated as consideration. So rental advance is there. If that advance is adjusted to a particular month's rent, then it will be treated as consideration. If it is not adjusted and refunded, then it will not be treated as consideration. Same. Next is the case with respect to subsidy by the central government or state government. When a central government or a state government is giving subsidy, that means, let's say a shop is there, fertilizer shop. Okay, so fertilizer costing 10,000 rupees. Out of this 10,000 rupees, farmer is paying 5,000 rupees. The government is paying 5,000 rupees. Government is paying 5,000 rupees. This is what is subsidy. 10,000 rupees is the consideration. Out of that, 5,000 is being paid by the central government or state government. Okay, so this is a subsidy given by the government. Okay, in such cases, the subsidy given by the governments will not be considered as consideration. Only the net amount of 5,000 rupees is there now, which is paid by the farmer. That will be treated as consideration. You got this? Right. Okay. So this is what is the definition of consideration. Right. So here, if you see in section 7, subsection 1, clause A. Okay, subsection 1, clause A. In this, you can find this word made or agreed to be made. Made or agreed to be made. That means for consideration. That means made or agreed to be made for consideration. See what they are telling, what is the exact dialogue there? 7 subsection 1 clause A. Supply means, what is the exact dialogue? All forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, etc. Made or agreed to be made for consideration. Made or agreed to be made. Sometimes we will take advance. They are talking about advance. So sometimes you are taking advance. Okay. So why you are taking advance? In future, you are obliged to supply something. Let's say 1,000 units of goods has been ordered from a customer to you. 1,000 units of goods has been ordered. So let's say every unit is rupees 100. So that means what is the consideration here? 1 lakh rupiah. Okay. You have taken 10,000 rupees as advance. 10,000 rupees as advance. That means it is made or agreed to be made. It is not made. It is agreed to be made. It is agreed to be made for consideration. So this also comes under supply. So even though advance received comes under. See, if advance is received, on that advance GST will come or not, we will see later. That may be advance with respect to goods, that may be advance with respect to services. So if it is a case of advance with respect to goods means advances, advance received, that means agreed to be made, agreed to be made for consideration. This word is there now, for this word we are discussing. So this is with respect to advance they are telling. So even though the transaction is not happening now, the transaction is going to happen in future. For that you have received some advance. So advance may be with respect to goods, advance may be with respect to service. Okay. So with respect to goods, then it is not attracted to GST. Whenever you are paying advance, no, actual supply is happening when? Then only GST will be attracted. Whenever you are taking advance, then GST will not be attracted. There is an exception to is exception, which is an actionable claim. Actionable claim is an exception. Actionable claim includes online gaming, betting, gambling, lottery, everything. See, actionable claims we have seen in the definition of goods. Actionable claim we have seen in the definition of goods, actionable claim we have seen in the definition of goods, actionable claim. So in this actionable claim, specified actionable claims are there. Specified actionable claims are there. What is a specified actionable claim means? Lottery, betting, gambling, horse races, online gaming. All these are comes under specified actionable claims. So whenever a person is dealing in actionable claims, that will not attract supply. So whenever you are dealing in a specified actionable claim, then only supply will come. You got it? A specified actionable claim. Whenever a person is dealing with this, then only, see, actually all the actionable claims are under the definition of goods. But whenever you are dealing in a specified actionable claim, then only supply attracts. Then only it will comes under the definition of supply. Right? Okay. See, specified actionable claims or comes under the definition of supply. Whenever you are dealing in that, then the supply definition will come, will attract here. See, whenever it is a case of goods and you have taken advance with respect to such goods, advance for a future supply you have taken, then GST will attract at that point. At that point, GST will not be attracting, except if it is a case of specified actionable claim. Except it is a case of specified actionable claim. Okay, now, so if, let's say an online gaming is going to happen in future. For that you have taken advance. Now only you have to pay GST. Now itself you have to pay GST because you are taking advance with respect to specified actionable claim. You are taking advance with respect to specified actionable claim. So whenever you are taking advance with respect to specified actionable claim, then you have to pay GST. So otherwise, with respect to goods, you are taking advance means you no need to pay GST at the point of time when you are taking advance. So you have to pay GST when you are actually supplying the same. Okay. With respect to services, you are taking advance. With respect to services, you are taking advance. GST will be attracted. GST will be attracted on the advance itself. You no need to wait for the provision of service. You no need to wait for the supply of service. We no need to wait for the actual supply. Supply will be attracted, GST will be attracted when you are taking advance with respect to services. With respect to goods means GST will not be attracted at the time of advance. But there is an exception with respect to specified actionable claims. You got this point? Right. Why we are talking, why we are discussing this point? Because there is a term agreed to be made for consideration in section 7 subsection 1 clause here. So that's why we are discussing this. You got this? Right. So we are talking about consideration made or agreed to be made for consideration. In that consideration, we are looking at the definition of consideration. In that definition, consideration is a payment in money or otherwise for supply by recipient or any other person, and it is a monetary value for any act, for any forbearance, or for tolerating an act. And if it is a deposit to be considered as a payment, deposit to be considered as a consideration, if it is appropriated, then only it will be considered as payment. If it is a subsidy by the central government or state government, it cannot be considered as a consideration. Okay, only when the supplier applies such deposit as consideration for the said supply, then only it is a consideration. Okay, if it is a case of subsidy, central government or state government pays it, then it will not be treated as consideration. You got this definition? Right. So we have seen this act or forbearance of an act. So even doing something is an act for some consideration. So not doing something is forbearance. Not doing something also is a consideration. Not doing something is also a consideration. Next, we have some clarification. We have some clarification here. Okay. See, donations received by charitable institutions from individual donors without quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means something in return. Okay. Donations received by charitable institutions. Let's say a temple is there. Temple has received some donation from some person. Okay. Let's say Raymond showroom owner is there. So he has given some 10 lakh worth donation to a temple. Okay. Right. So as a token of appreciation, temple premises, in the temple premises, the temple trustees has put the hoarding of the Rayman showroom owner. Okay, na? Hoarding of the Rayman showroom owner. Not promoting the business. Just as a token of appreciation, they are putting their name. They have engraved their name. So donated by so and so person and Jeppis. Okay. So it is not the consideration. It is just a token of appreciation. So whenever the Rayman showroom asking the temple authorities, if at all you are putting my hoarding there in the prominent place, then only I will pay this much amount of donation karke. If they are putting some condition means, then it will comes under the definition of consideration. You're getting it? So whenever there is no quid pro quo, then it is not a consideration. Whenever there is a quid pro quo, that means something in return, they are asking for the promotion of the business, then only it will be a consideration. Got it? So this is one example. Next, artwork sent by artists to galleries for exhibition is not a supply, as no consideration flows from gallery to the artist. Okay, so see, this is one more clarification. This is a circular actually, circular number C here, 22 by 2017. Okay, so these are the circulars. So this is also a circular. This is a donations received by charitable institutions. This is also a circular. So in order to get the clarification, right? So artwork sent by artists to gallery. Just the movement of the what we call artistic work from the artist to the gallery. See, here there is a supplier. Here there is a supplier. There is no supply. There is no consideration. There is no supply. From a gallery, anyone who is coming to visit the gallery is purchasing the artwork. Then it is a supply. So this is what the clarification. Artwork sent by artists to galleries for exhibition is not a supply, as no consideration flows from gallery to artist. So artists give their work of art to the galleries, where it is exhibited for supply. However, no consideration flows from the gallery to the artist. Okay, when the artworks are sent to the gallery for exhibition, and therefore the same is not a supply. Right? First, what is happening from artist to gallery? The goods are being shifted. Okay, so here there is no consideration, there is no supply. Next, what is it? Is only when a buyer selects a particular artwork displayed at the gallery that the actual supply takes place. Then the actual supply takes place, and the applicable GST would be payable at the time of such supply. Okay, so this is a clarification given through a circular. Okay, so same is the case here also. You just have a reading of this donation received by charitable institution from individual donors. You can find there. This you read. So this is with respect to the definition of consideration, we are having a clarification. With respect to definition of consideration, we are having a clarification. You have two examples here. If it is displayed their name as a token of gratitude without prompting their business, promoting their business or offering any service in return, this does not qualify as a supply of service. Since there is no quid pro quo, there is no obligation from the donor that you have to do this. If there is no obligation, it is not a supply, not attracted to GST. You have two examples here, you just have a reading. Okay, we'll go for the next clarification. You might have heard this no claim bonus, sir. No claim bonus, have you seen? Yeah. What is this no claim bonus? You are taking an insurance. Insurance company is there. The person who is taking individual insured, taking insurance policy, he will be called as insured only, no? Right. So insured has to pay premium, insurance premium to the insurance company. So insurance company will give service to the insured, correct? So premium is the consideration. Premium is the consideration. Insuring or indemnifying is the service here. Okay, so who is giving service to whom? Insurance company is giving service. Insurance service or indemnification service. Okay, so individual or insured is giving premium to the insurance company. Let's say in the first year, the premium amount is, let's say in the first year, the premium amount is 40,000 rupees. 40,000 rupees is the amount of premium. So it is a car insurance, car insurance. Okay, 40,000 is the amount of premium. In the first year, we have not claimed anything from the insurance company. We have not claimed anything. We have small scratches, small repairs we have, but we have not claimed anything from the insurance company. So that's why insurance company treating us as a good customer to them, because we are not claiming them, no? Okay, we are paying premium, but we are keeping quiet, we are not claiming anything from the company. So that's why they are giving bonus, which is called no claim bonus. We have not claimed anything in the year. That's why they are giving us no claim bonus. So whenever they are giving no claim bonus, let's say 10%, 15% bonus they have given, 6,000 rupees bonus they have given. Okay, so 40,000 minus 6,000, 34,000 will be the premium, new premium amount. So here 6,000 rupees, can this 6,000 rupees be treated as a consideration? Consideration from whom to whom? From insurance company to insured. For what? Against what? For not claiming. For not claim. Okay. So if this is the case, then it will be treated as supply by insured to the insurance company. Is the question here? Is the question here? Do you understand this question? Okay. So first of all, there is an insurance company giving insurance services to the insured against a premium, insurance premium. So in the first year, he has not claimed anything. That's why the insurance company has offered a bonus amount of 15% to the customer, to the insured. Now the insurance company is giving 6,000 rupees to the insured. It will be treated as a consideration. Against what service? Not claiming. Will there be any agreement in such a way? Actually, he will take insurance for what? Whenever there is a risk happening, then in order to claim something from the company, the insured is taking insurance policy. There is no such agreement that we will not claim anything from you. If at all you don't want to claim anything from the insurance company, in order to get the bonus, you have to pay the premium. In order to get the bonus, you have to pay the premium. In order to insure or indemnify from the risk, you have to pay the premium. So there is no agreement between the company and the insured for not claiming bonus, not claiming what we call for not to take the claim from the insurance company. There is no such agreement, and hence it will not be treated as a consideration. It will not be treated as a service, and hence it will not be treated as a supply. This is one more clarification. This is one more clarification with respect to no claim bonus. You will find in the text. You can read this. See, no supply of service by the insured to the insurance company. By the insured, that means individual to the company. Insured to the insurance company in lieu of no claim bonus, NCB, no claim bonus offered by the said insurance company to him. Okay, no claim bonus will not be treated as a consideration, and not claiming is not a service. Not claiming is not a service. Okay, this issue which arose for consideration was whether the deduction on account of no claim bonus allowed by the insurance company from the insurance premium payable by the insured can be considered as a consideration. Okay, consideration for what? Consideration for supply provided by the insurer to the insurance company for agreeing to obligation to refrain from the act of lodging insurance claim during the previous year. How it became a service? Agreeing to refrain from an act, agreeing for not doing an act, agreeing for not claiming. Okay, so will it be treated as consideration? If it is a consideration, then it can be treated as supply, is the question here. So it is not a consideration, it is not a supply, it is not a service. Okay, so as per the practice prevailing in the insurance sector, no claim bonus has been offered. So the insurance company deduct no claim bonus from the gross insurance premium amount when no claim is made by the insured person during the previous insurance periods. The customer or insured procures insurance policy to indemnify himself from any loss or injury as per the terms of the policy and is not under any contractual obligation not to claim insurance claim. If there is such contract, why to go for insurance? Okay, right. During any period covered under the policy in lieu of NCB. It is therefore clarified that there is no supply provided by the insurer to the insurance company in the form of agreeing to the obligation to refrain from an act of lodging insurance claim during the previous years, and no claim bonus cannot be considered as a consideration for any supply provided by the insurer to the insurance company. Okay, so these are the three clarifications. So first one, donation to charitable institution. Is it a consideration? It is not a consideration until and unless there is a quid pro quo. If there is a quid pro quo and they are asking to display their name and promote their business, then it will be a consideration, then it will be a supply. Supply by whom? Supply by whom? Supply by charitable institution. Next, artwork sent to galleries. While sending the artwork from the gallery, artwork to the galleries, there is no such supply. While the parties are coming to the gallery and purchasing something, then there is a supply. Okay. Now, no claim bonus. No claim bonus given by the insurance company to the insured. Okay, it is not a consideration for not claiming. So for not claiming is not a service, and no claim bonus is not a consideration, and hence there is no supply. Okay, because there is no such agreement between the insured and the insurance company for not claiming. Okay, so these are the three clarifications, right? Right. Now, supply should be made in the course or furtherance of business. Supply shall be made in the course or furtherance of business. Business shall be present. Business shall be present for a transaction to be a supply. Okay, now that is what 7 subsection 1 clause A is telling. So here GST doesn't enter your home. That means if you are doing transaction at your home and the transaction is not in the nature of business, there is no business involved in it, then there will not be any GST. See, let's say if a jewelry is there, old jewelry is there, you are going to a jewelry shop and you are selling that jewelry, and in exchange of that jewelry you are taking an ornament and you are paying some amount, extra amount. So that means you are selling your old jewelry. That means there is a goods are there is consideration involved, but there is business or not. There is business or not. There is no business involved here because it is an occasional transaction. It happens with everyone, and it is not our business to sell the jewelry. So even though there is no multiplicity of transactions, if you intend to sell jewelry and you are having a shop, in an entire financial year, if you are not having transaction or even one transaction, that will be considered as business. Frequency or volume of the business will not be considered, but your intention will be seen there. Here our intention is not to trade with jewelry. Our intention is not to trade with jewelry. So you're just going to a jewelry shop, giving your old jewelry and getting a new ornament. You're paying something. Okay, na? So this is not a business. So everything is present. It is a good and it is for consideration, but business is absent here. So that's why whenever you are doing a transaction at your home, just like bike sale or a mobile sale or a jewelry sale, whatever you are doing on your own or at your home, so GST will not be attracted. That means it is not a supply, there is no GST. It is not a supply, and thereby there will not be a GST. Okay, so business shall be there. Business shall be there. So supply should be made in the course or furtherance of business. So GST doesn't enter your home if it's a business. GST wants a piece. Whenever it is a business, then only GST will be collected. Okay, so GST is essentially a tax only on commercial transactions. Whenever there is a business transaction, then only GST will be there. Hence, only those supplies that are in the course or furtherance of business qualify as a supply under GST. Resultantly, any supplies made by an individual in his personal capacity does not come under the ambit of GST unless they fall within the definition of business. Okay, when there is a personal transaction, it is not a supply. It is not a supply. It is not a business. It is not a business, and hence it is not a supply. Only commercial transaction, only business transaction attracts GST. Only business transactions attracts GST. So business is defined under section 2, subsection 17. Business encompasses any activity relating to trade, commerce, manufacturing, profession, vocation, adventure, or even betting, whatever it may be. It may be trade, commerce. It may be trade, commerce, manufacturing, profession, vocation, adventure. It may be adventure, whatever it may be, whatever it may be. Let's say an amusement park is there, water world is there, a park is there, a circus is there, an event is being conducted, whatever it may be. Whenever it is a commercial in nature, they are putting a ticket. We are taking the ticket and entering to an exhibition. We are entering to a water world with some ticket. So all this comes as a business. Okay, so it may be an adventure, it may be occasion, or it may be done occasionally, or it may be or there may be a frequency, or there may be a volume. Whether there is a volume or not, it doesn't matter. The intention will be looked there. Okay, so it also includes transactions conducted by government bodies when acting as a public authorities. Notably, for any activity to qualify as a business, factors like frequency, volume, regularity, or financial gain are not mandatory. So whether you are doing business for earning the profit or not, it doesn't matter. Whether frequency is not matter, volume of the transaction is not matter. Intention will be taken as consideration. Okay, see here. So business includes any trade, commerce, business definition we are talking about. So business includes any trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, etc. Even if there is no pecuniary benefit, even if there is no profit motive, even then also it can be treated as a business. That means a charitable trust is there. They are running a hospital. They are charging from the patients. Actually, they don't want to earn money out of such activity, but still they are doing business for their maintenance. That will be considered as a business only. There is no profit motive there, but still it will be considered as a business. And that too, any activity incidental or ancillary there too. That means it need not always the main activity. See, we are doing some service here. Educational institute is doing service here. They are having an asset, furniture, old furniture is there. They are selling it. It is an ancillary activity. It is an ancillary activity. They are having an old projector. They are selling it. It is an ancillary activity. It is not necessarily always the main activity. It is not necessarily always the main activity. Ancillary activities may also be comes under the part of business, right? So any activity incidental or ancillary to it. Okay. Next, supply or acquisition of goods including capital and services. So while incorporating a business or shutting down a business, okay, so we will purchase some capital goods while incorporating a business. We will sell some capital goods while shutting the business. So that will also part of business. So in connection with the commencement of business, in connection with the closure of business. Okay, right. Next, provision of facilities by a club or association. To whom it will provide services? A club is there. In that membership will be there to some members. Okay, membership will be paid by the members. Club will provide the services to the members. That is also a business by the club. That is also business by the association. See, let's say a welfare association is there. Well, this society or welfare association, housing welfare association, apartments will be there, no? In that there will be association, apartments association will be there. Welfare association will be there. So what they will collect? Maintenance amount. They'll pool some amount. With that amount, they will use it for services to the members only. That is also a business. That it also will be treated as business. That business will comes under the definition of supplier, comes under the definition of GST or not, comes under the scope of GST or not. That is a different issue. First of all, it is a business or not. Okay, right. Admission for consideration to any premises. A cricket match is going on in a stadium. We are paying the ticket. We are paying some amount to the ticket, and then we are entering into the ground. That is what admission to a premises for consideration. That is also a business. Services as a holder of an office. As a holder of an office. That means appointing as an auditor, appointing as a director, independent director in a company, holding as an office. Okay, so for attending the meetings, we are receiving sitting fees. A director is receiving sitting fees from the company for attending the meeting. An independent director is being appointed in a company. Okay, that is all holding an office. That is also a business. That is also a business. That is a service. Okay, activities of a race club, including by way of totalisator or a license to a bookmaker or activities of a licensed bookmaker in such a club. Race club you might be knowing. Totalisator, that means all the bets will be collected. Commission will be deducted. And the remaining amount of pool will be decided for first prize, second prize, third prize. Totalisator means that this is an electronic device which will collect the bet and pool the money, and for first place this amount, second place this amount, third place this amount will be decided by the totalisator. Okay, so activities of a race club, this is also an activity of business, and any activity by the government or local authority as a public authorities. So whatever it may be, everything comes under the definition of business. So whenever it is coming under the definition of business, later point of time we have to decide whether it is a supply transaction or not. Whether remaining elements are there means it is a supply. Remaining other elements are not absent means it is not a supply. Consideration is absent, it is not a supply. Consideration is absent, it is not a supply. It is not good or it is not a service, it is not a supply. So or else it may be a supply. It is not, it is an exempted supply. It is an exempted supply. A degree college is there. A degree college is there. They are offering graduation courses. So whenever they are offering graduation courses out of some fees, it is an educational activity which is exempted from GST. It is a qualification recognized by law. That's why it is an exempted activity. So it is a business. It is offering some service. It is a business. For consideration it is there. It is a service. It is a consideration. It is a business. That means it is a supply. Whether it will attract GST or not, it is an exempted supply. That's why it will not attract GST. Okay, so first of all, it is a business. Later point of time, we will decide with respect to other conditions whether it is a supply or not. Okay, provided if it is a supply, whether it attracts GST or not. Again, exempted supplier, taxable supplier. So if it is made by a taxable person, a exempted person. So likewise, we have to see. So first of all, it is a business. So this is what the definition of business. You just have a glance of it. This is the definition of business. So business includes any trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, even if there is no pecuniary benefits, whether it may be profit motive or not. And incidental or ancillary activities, it is not necessarily always the main activity to be made. Ancillary activities are being made then also. So we have done with definition of goods or service. You have seen the forms of supply, sale, transfer, lease, license. We have seen consideration. We have seen business. We have seen made or agreed to be made. Okay, so all the definitions which needs a discussion with respect to 7 subsection 1 clause A has been seen, right? So what is there in that 7(1)(a)? You just read that line. Supply includes all forms of supply of goods or services, such as sale, transfer, barter, lease, license, rental, disposal, made or agreed to be made for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. This is what exactly there in section 7 subsection 1 clause A. So all the words in that clause which needs a elaborate discussion has been made, right? You just have a glance of it. See here we have some transactions here. There are 5 transactions. So based on 7(1)(a), we have to decide whether the transactions are supply or not. Okay. So Rishabh buys a car for his personal use and after a year sells it to a car dealer. Sale of car by Rishabh to car dealer is not a supply under CGST Act, said supply is not made by receipt in the course or furtherance of business. Correct? Okay. So why it is not a supply? Goods are there, consideration is there, but what is missing? Business is there. It is not made in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. See, let's say if it is a sale by a car dealer means, then it is a supplier. Why? Goods, consideration in the course or furtherance of business. So if it is a sale by a car dealer, then it is a supply. If it is a sale by a person who is using the car for personal use, then it is not a supply. Right. Next, Manikarnika sold her old gold bangles and earrings to Bhushan Jewelers. Okay. Sale of old gold jewelry by an individual to jewelry shop will not constitute supply, as the same cannot be said to be in the course or furtherance of business of the individual. Okay. If it is vice versa transaction means sale of jewelry by Bhushan Jewelers, then it is a supply. Okay. Supply, then GST will be attracted. Okay. Next, Sundaram Acharya, a famous actor, paints some paintings and sells them. Paints some paintings and sells them. So here the motto you have to say, the consideration from such sale is to be donated to a charitable trust. Okay, right. So Kind Human is the charitable trust. To such charitable trust, he intends to donate such amount. Okay. Next, the sale of the paintings by the actor qualifies as a supply as it is made in the course or furtherance of business. So he is painting the paintings. Okay. So for selling them, here there is a business activity. We no need to see the volume. We no need to see the frequency. But this is a business. Okay. Next, a resident welfare association. Resident welfare association, apartments association will be there, no? That one provides services of depositing the electricity bills of the residents in lieu of some nominal charges. Provisions of the service by a club or association or society to its members is included in the definition of business. Okay. So this is actually, so when we talk about resident welfare associations, see, resident welfare association, flat owners will be there. They are giving some maintenance to a society, and that society will be formed by themselves only, no? Out of that welfare association of 200 people, or 5 people or 10 people will come together and form an association. They will collect charges from the flat owners and they will give service. This is what is called the principle of mutuality. So they are coming together and forming an association, contributing some amount to the association and getting benefit from the association. This is what is called principle of mutuality, through which we can get exemption in income tax. Through which we can get an exemption in income tax. But under GST, it comes under the definition of business. If it is a business and it is a service and it is for consideration, then it is a supply. If it is a supply and if it is not exempted supply, then GST will be attracted. Okay, there is an exemption to it. There is an exemption to it. And actually, section 7 subsection 1 AA is there, no? 7 subsection 1 clause AA is there, no? That is with respect to this point only. 1 AA. 7.1a. After 7.1a, we have 7.1 AA is there, no? That is with respect to this point only. So other than individual, if any person, other than individual, any person means it may be HF, it may be society, or it may be trust, or it may be club, or it may be association, or it may be a partnership firm, is providing any service or anything, whatever it may be, any service or any good, for consideration from its members. Consideration from its members. Here, the partnership firm is taking consideration from the partners for doing something in return to the partners. Whatever it may be, whatever the service may be, whatever the good may be, partnership firm is accepting some consideration from the partners. That also will be treated as a supply, is 7.1 AA. So in that, they will use the word notwithstanding anything contained in any court order. That means Supreme Court judgment is there on this point. It will not be treated as supply, or it will not be treated as a business. It is a principle of mutuality. They came together, they formed an association for their mutual benefit, and that too amount is from them only. They are contributing the amount. For their benefit, they have made an association. It is a principle of mutuality. Their money is being spent for themselves. Okay, so that's why the principle of mutuality comes into picture, and there is an exemption under income tax if you could claim it correctly. Okay, when comes to GST, notwithstanding any judgment, notwithstanding any court order, notwithstanding any decree, so the point given under section 7 subsection 1 clause AA has to prevail. What it is telling, any person other than individual, any person other than individual is providing services to any of its members, just like a partnership firm is giving services to partners, a club is giving services to members, a resident welfare association is giving services to its members. So anyone giving services to members for consideration, then it will comes under the definition of supply is 7(1)(a). Okay, right. Last point, services by way of admission to circus, cinema halls, amusement parks, including theme parks, water parks, etc. are considered as supply, as these are services by way of admission to a person to any premises for consideration. Got it? Okay. So this is what admission to a premises for some consideration is also a business. Service is there, business is there, consideration is there, 7(1)(a) is attracting, supply is there. Supply is there means GST may come if it is not as an exempt supply, if it is a taxable supply, and it is made by a taxable person, then only GST will come. Got it? Right. So we'll stop here, we'll have a break, and then we'll come back.